Right, so today we're gonna create some quotas and screening. So basically what a quota is, uh, it's a limited amount of space, especially on file shares. So it just specifies how much space the user can use to create data or modify. So the first step to create an screening and quotas is to add users, Active Directory users and computers, share file, share folder, take the defaults, click OK, and then file server resource management, click OK. So these are the things we need to create a quota and screening. And let's just create a new organization unit. You don't have to create an organization unit but for this demonstration purpose, it's easier and it keeps the things organized if we create organization unit and users and groups inside it. So let's just create an organization unit called Coda. Click OK. Right click, create new users. This user one. Click next. This one never expires. Confirm password, finish, and that's our first user. Let's create another test user. User 2. Next. Click next. Finish. And lastly, we're going to create a new group. Let's just call it test group. Click OK. Now we're gonna add our users to the test group. Go to members, add. Let's just add this user 1 and add this user 2. This user 2, click OK, OK, apply, OK. Now, since we have our users and groups organized, let's just create a file share. Create a new share, click next. I have already made a folder for a file share, so I'm just gonna go browse. It's under my C file, C directory, and that's my quotas and screen. That's my file share. Click OK. Click next. That's my share path. Click next. I'm gonna customize the permissions. So for the share permissions, we are going to remove everyone and add domain users. This way, the, the users who have access or who can view the file are related to domain, not just any guest. names, click OK. Let's just make it full control so that everyone can get access to that files here. And if we want to like lock down anything, we can use NTFS permissions, and we go to advanced, and we remove this. So only our system administrator and creator owners have full access to our files here. We are going to add our group, this group, click OK. And let's just make it full control, click OK. In general case, since I've already done this before, in general case, you might have to disable inheritance and select it for all objects and then remove other accounts, which accounts you don't want to have to give them access to the file share. Click apply, click OK, and click OK and finish. So right here is our file share. Now the last step is to creating quotas and screening. And right here we can, under file resource manager and quota management, we can create a new quota template or use an existing quota template. So to create a new quota template, click on quota template, right click, create a quota template. Right here you can either copy existing attributes from existing templates or create your own. I'm gonna call it this quota 100 MB. And so there are two types of quotas, hard quota and soft quota. When you create a hard quota, it will prohibit the user from using more than specified space. But when you create a soft quota, when you, let's say right here, it's 100 MB, the user can use any 150 MB across 100 MB limit, and it will only generate like notification. So we are going to create a hard quota. We are going to add a threshold. So this is just to get notification when like 80%, right here 85% uh space is used. You can create it, you can change this to 90, 100, and these options are for email message. These are to generate email notifications, but since we don't have email server, we are directly going to event logs and send warning to event logs. So whenever 85% of space is used, we will get event log notification. And right here on commands, you can run certain scripts and commands when a user uses 85% of the specified limit. So we're just gonna stick with event logs, create OK, click OK, and that's our threshold, click OK. Now we have created our coda template. Now let's create a coda. So right here on the coda path, we are just going to select our file share, and that was Quota and screen. Click OK. So right here, there are two options, create quota on path. This will apply to quota and screen, and it will only let user upload 100 MB data, no more than that, since it's a hard quota. But when you auto apply a template, it applies to any subfolders. For example, let's say if there's folder 1 and folder 2 inside quota and screen, it will apply to folder 1 and folder 2, not to Coda and screen folder 1. So it will apply to this one, folder 2, and all the subfolders inside Coda and screens. So we are going to create Coda on path, and right here we are going to check our template, the one we just created, this Coda 100 MB hard, and we are going to create. Now that's applied to our Coda. Let's just go to our workstation and see if it's working or not. Right here. Right, let's just access our file share. And our file share was this one, Coda and screen. Open. Okay, since it's not working, let's try to map a drive. Actually, let's just use GUI for it. So go right over here, PC, computer, map a drive, map network drive, PC, yes. And that's our drive. Let's just delete the previous items. Now that's our drive, and it has a hard quota of 100 MB. So that's our user data. And let's see how big is our user data. So our user data folder is full 95 MB, which is more than 100 MB. So let's just try to copy it and paste. And that's our hard quota. stopping it from being copied. Try again, try again, it's not working. Skip, do this for all items, skip, and that only let us copy 99.5 MB of data. It didn't let us cross 100 MB. Click OK, and that's the hard coda. Let's go to our server and double check with the event logs. Custom views, administrative events. So right here is our warning. User C practice to user 1 has exceeded the 85% quota threshold for the quota, and that's our warning. And that's how hard quota works. But in soft quotas, we are only going to get warning. It will not prevent the user from exceeding 100 MB limit, specified limit to be precise. Now, file screening. File screening is used to block certain types of files from getting uploaded to the file share. And for this project, we are going to block executable files and audio and video files. So let's create a file screen template. Let's just call it block audio. In the end, executables. So there are two types of screening. Active screening works somewhat similar to hardcoder. It will not let a user upload specified type of file. So in this case, we are going with audio and executables, but passive screening, it will only generate a notification. Let's just go full screen. And there's an issue over here since we go from, there's a bug right here. Since we go from minimize screen to full screen, the OK button disappears. So let's just try it again. Create a file screen template. See this the OK button block. Let's just block audio, executable files, and you can even specify what type of file to block. So for example, you wanna block .mp4, but you wanna keep the .mp3. You can go and edit over here. So right here you can add some different kind of type of file, or you can exclude a file extension. Like if you wanna block videos like MOV file, but wanna allow MP4 file, you just type .mp4. MP4, this way it will allow MP4 to be uploaded, but not the movie file. And we are not going to do that, so let's just cancel it. And these two are selected. Click OK. Now our file screen template is ready. Go to file screen, create file screen, select the folder. Just it works somewhat similar to Codas. Now select our template. Now hit create. Now that's our screening file screen. Now let's just check it on the workstation file. Delete. Now I am going to look at the properties of these files. So these files are only 63.7 MB, and among them, only two files are JPG, other ones are either executable files or MP4 files, which shouldn't get copied. So let's try to copy it to our drive, network drive. Paste. See, the folder is denied. Let's just try again. It doesn't work. Let's just skip it. And see, only our image files are copied, not the executable files or the audio or video files. And that's how screening works. Let me just type in the host name, and that's my workstation. And right here is my server, and this concludes the video.